As we move on to the next video, there's a few more names to be dropped. The political narrative championed by the MAGA movement frequently relies on the vilification of LGBTQ plus individuals, framing them as inherent threats to children. This rhetoric, often described as groomer discourse, has been utilized to justify sweeping legislation targeting transgender rights and drag performances. However, a disturbing trend continues to emerge where the most vocal proponents of this "protect the children" platform are themselves being implicated in the sexual exploitation of minors. This video will examine some recent cases involving MAGA-aligned figures, detailing the specific charges, legal statuses, and the systemic hypocrisy these revelations expose. Ray Holmberg, a retired Republican state senator from North Dakota, represents one of the most egregious examples of this hypocrisy. Holmberg, who held a powerful position in the state legislature for decades, pleaded guilty in August 2024 to traveling to Europe with the intent to pay for sex with a minor under the age of 18, as well as receiving child sex abuse images. Following his guilty plea, Holmberg is currently awaiting sentencing later this month. His admission of guilt regarding the receipt of abusive material and intent to engage in sex tourism with a minor starkly contrasts with the legislative record of a party that claims to prioritize child safety. John Jessup. In a particularly disturbing case of familial abuse, John Jessup, a Republican who had just won the election for commissioner of Hancock, Indiana, pled guilty to attempting to sexually assault his own daughter. The crime occurred during a celebration of the victim's 21st birthday in Las Vegas. Jessup's position as an elected official, entrusted with public service, was shattered by his admission of guilt. Unlike those who claim to protect children from abstract threats, Jessup targeted a family member, yet he was able to secure a political victory before his guilty plea entered the public record. Joshua David Kemper. A California youth pastor was arrested on child sexual abuse charges involving a 15-year-old girl. The abuse allegedly occurred between March and July of the reporting year. Prior to his arrest, Kemper was active online, sharing AI-generated anti-LGBTQ plus content that suggested queer people were a danger to youngsters. This case highlights the projection often found in these scenarios where an individual accused of heinous acts against minors actively participates in the online demonization of the LGBTQ plus community. Kemper's role as a youth pastor placed him in a position of trust and authority, making the allegations against him a profound breach of his duties. Madison Page Jones. Madison was charged with child sexual abuse after gaining notoriety for wearing a red MAGA hat at her wedding. While her specific political affiliations beyond the visual display of support are not explicitly detailed in investigative statements, the imagery associates her directly with the movement. The charges against her add to the growing list of individuals utilizing right-wing symbolism while allegedly committing crimes against children. The cases of Holmberg, Jessup, Kemper, and Jones are not isolated incidents but part of a broader pattern. A report by journalist Evan Hurst detailed at least 188 convictions, arrests, or accusations of child abuse among right-wing figures over the past year alone. This data challenges a core tenet of MAGA rhetoric that the primary threat to children lies within the LGBTQ+ community. Instead, the evidence points to a different reality. Republicans have become obsessed with labeling drag queens, trans women, and gay people as groomers and sexual deviants who shouldn't be allowed near children. Yet the perpetrators frequently turn out to be their own pastors, politicians, and supporters. The movement's strategy turned out to be their or the movement's strategy relies on creating a moral panic that distracts from the actual abuse occurring within their own ranks. By focusing the public's attention on drag story hours or gender affirming care, these figures effectively shield themselves from scrutiny while engaging in or covering up criminal behavior. The positions held by these individuals often grant them access to victims and a degree of implicit trust from their communities. Holmberg's long tenure as a state senator and Kemper's role as a youth pastor provided them with the cover of respectability. Jessup's election as a county commissioner occurring despite his criminal actions suggests a failure of vetting processes or a willful ignorance by the electorate regarding the character of their candidates. Furthermore, the silence from the top of the MAGA regime re- regarding these cases is deafening. While leadership is quick to condemn LGBTQ+ individuals, there is often no similar outcry when a Republican official or influencer is charged with child sex crimes. This selective outrage suggests that the concern for children is secondary to the political utility of the accusation. The continuing arrests and convictions of MAGA supporters and officials on charges related to the sexual abuse of minors reveal a movement deeply at odds with its stated values. The specific cases of Ray Holmberg, John Jessup, Joshua David Kemper, and Madison Page Jones demonstrate that the groomer narrative is a projection that distracts from real abuse. As long as the focus remains on demonizing marginalized communities rather than addressing the predators within their own political sphere, the safety of children remains compromised. True awareness requires acknowledging that the threat is not where the MAGA rhetoric claims it is, but often much closer to the source of those accusations.